The Sims.
What do you got?
Proof.
What?
You know the game The Sims?
The Sims.
There's a god.
What? The Sims?
Yeah, the game The Sims. That's proof that there's a god.
Okay, and who created your god? Because your god could be a sim.
That's true, but doesn't it still means that we're in a simulation and that
Okay, so
we
is your
have a
god.
god.
Your god's in a simulation too. We can go on forever. It's ridiculous. Why can't we just say the universe is always here with no agency? There's nobody making it. It's just a natural existence.
Because it doesn't matter how many gods there are, the fact is that we're likely a sim in a simulation and therefore have a god.
Well, in this case, we can synonymize universe with a simulation. In that sense, there doesn't need to be somebody making a simulation. It could be a natural process.
That's highly unlikely to
Why? How did you assess that?
Because to create a simulation, there's complexity, and that much complexity requires.
Is a grain of sand complex?
Sorry?
Is a grain of sand complex?
No.
Okay, great. So it doesn't need design, right? It doesn't need a simulation for a grain of sand.
Yeah, but you need that sort of complexity requires a designer.
Why? Why do you need a designer for complexity when we know that there are naturalistic reasons for complexity, such as natural selection, evolution, and gravity, and the laws of the forces of nature? Why can't these be explanations without a magic sky daddy?
Because those sorts of explanations explain biology. They don't explain non-biological entities like a computer.
Yes, they do. It's called physics. Physics, the laws of physics describe everything we observe.
Okay, but we still have a god because we're in a simulation like The Sims.
Okay, and who simulated your god?
Do you know who Grimes is?
Okay, have a good day. The simulation doesn't solve anything, right? Simulations, we can say the same for a natural universe. And definitely doesn't get you to the biblical God. Everybody keep tapping, keep tapping. Let's get some more victims. Hello?
Hello.
What do you got?
So, question. I've noticed that. Are you busting here like somebody stole something?
Because you did steal something. My motherfucking heart. Shut.
Hello. Hello.
Yep. What do you got?
I am Cesar from the Brazil.
Can you hear me, Mike? Hello?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so is this like debate specific to God, or can I like just ask some general questions about like your opinion on it?
Yeah, what's your argument?
Because I wanted. Now I was gonna ask you a question. Do you think that we can have AI be defined as conscious before we can understand our own?
Hi, Mike. So I'm gonna give you a very solid proof that that God is existing.
Great. What is it?
So you know that proof cannot be made by chemical mixture or nature. You know, every human body has two barcodes.
DNA is not a God thing. It's just a chemical molecule that emerged from just chemistry, right? There's no need for a God for DNA.
I am not talking about DNA. I'm talking
Okay.
about the fingerprint and the eye scan. So it is a barcode. It's a software and hardware barcode, and it needs brain behind it and intelligence
It's
behind
called
it.
fetal development, sir. Our fingerprints develop in the womb, right? It's called embryonic development. The same can be said for many other species of animals. Other apes, other monkeys have fingerprints. It's not God. It's not Jesus. It's just physics and chemistry. Go learn some science.
I don't think so that any other animals, have the fingerprint and the eye scan.
They do. So go learn some fucking science and then come back to this debate, because you can't debate me if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So I search it in the Google. There is no any animal has the fingerprint and eye scan like the barcode, that it is not matching a billions of human beings.
Sir, if you think research is Google, you're so wrong. Research isn't fucking Google, right? It's actually looking at peer-reviewed studies and research and science. And yes, koala bears have fingerprints.
So, like, can you recommend any studies that's prove that?
Here we go.
Hello? Hello?
What's your argument today?
I believe that God is real.
Great. Where's your evidence for it?
The Bible.
You mean the book with talking donkeys and talking snakes and wizards and dragons and demons and Noah's Ark and Adam and Eve?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. How do you know the Bible's true?
Well, first question here. How did you go from being
No, we're not asking questions today, sir.
yeah,
You're debating me. What is your argument for God? Where's your evidence for God? And if your only evidence is a book of garbage, I'm just going to reject that. The Bible's nonsense.
Well, God isn't like you can't like prove it. You can't prove any way like the world was created. Let's be honest here.
You said it was created.
What do you think happened?
What do you mean, what happened? Nothing had to happen. The universe could have always been.
Then how was the world created?
It wasn't created. See, if it's always there, it was not created.
How was it always there, though?
How was God always there?
I asked you the question first.
Well, the universe could be always there in the same conceptual way that God could always be there. It's called eternity.
And how do you know that God's not always there?
Because there's no evidence for your magic space daddy. Do you have any?
Yeah, there's no evidence for the universe being here the whole time either.
Well, there's reasons to think it's possible, and there's evidence of a universe.
There's reasons to think that God's possible too.
No, there is none.
Yes,
God,
there is. There's many stories out there, my boy.
Which God do you believe in, right?
Huh?
What God do you believe in?
I'm
What
Christian.
do you mean by God?
I'm Christian.
Okay, great. Your God's impossible. Your God is not possible. Because there's the problem of evil, the divine hiddenness problems, omniparadoxes, the omniscience free will paradox. There's so many logical inconsistencies embedded within your worldview. Plus, the Bible's nonsense.
Bible's not nonsense. God is faith, my boy.
Oh. So you think the only thing solidifying your view is faith?
Depends.
Okay, great. So what if I have faith that your God's not real? Does that make me any more real or any more true?
It does.
Oh, really? So I have a lot of faith that God's not real. I win?
No, you don't win, dummy.
Oh, great. So where's your evidence for God?
I just told you, bud. I just told you it is faith.
Okay. If
There's
I have
stories, there's like...
How about this? If I have faith in Santa Claus, does that make him any more real?
No.
Great. Faith does not equate to evidence.
Santa Claus is real.
Okay. Have a good day.
No, you're an idiot.
I hope you're a troll. I really hope you're a troll. Hey, what do you got?
I mean, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My question is, why do you have two different accounts, in which one you'll say God is real and the other you'll say he's...
Oh my gosh.
Why do you have two accounts?
Yeah, hello.
Weird.
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, so I believe the argument from change is a good argument for proving the existence of a God.
Argument from change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Nothing in the universe necessarily changes. Change is an emergent property.
So
So
are you trying to say that you didn't change?
the universe is not change is not a fundamental feature of the universe. Change
Yeah,
is
but
emergent.
what I mean by change is that from at one point that something like undergo a state of like difference. So like at one point, right, in time you were a kid, and at one point in time you grew. That undergoes change.
Okay.
Yeah, and this change,
In one appointed time, there was no universe. And then another appointed time, God created the universe. Does that mean God changes?
no, because outside of time, there's no time. So you can't really apply the concept of time
Okay, great.
outside
So
of.
how do you do anything without time to do it in?
Wait, sorry, say again.
How do you enact an action with no time to do it in?
I mean, we don't have to know how. It doesn't matter the how, unless there's a logical contradiction. Wait,
So
unless
you get to believe in the logical things because you want to.
unless you can prove it's illogical, then we don't need to know how.
Does all change require time?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Is the universe not existing to a universe existing a state of change?
No.
There is no change from a universe not existing to a universe existing. There's no change there.
Yes, because
Okay, great. So if God created the universe, then there was a change, and
no, there
change
wasn't.
requires
No.
time.
I'm saying change requires time. So God did not create the universe at one point in time. I mean, God not creating the universe and at one point him creating the universe with time doesn't mean it's change, because when he creates time, that's when change begins.
How do you create time if there's no time to create it in?
We are like I said, we don't need to know how, unless you can prove that it's illogical.
It's not. It's. I just proved it, and you just pivoted. I showed you that by your own definition of change, it requires time.
Yes.
And when it comes to the universe existing and from non-existence, that's a change.
No, that's not how it works, because before God created time, right, there was no time for there to be change. But once he created time, then that's when change began. So that's why your argument fails over there.
Okay. How is there change without time? How is that possible?
Yeah, I didn't say this is possible. That's my whole point.
So you believe in the impossible?
No, I'm saying it's logically possible, yes.
How is it logically possible that time occurs without change? Or change occurs without time?
Bro, I'm saying, okay, look, you need time for change, but my whole point is, right, if there's no first mover, then it leads to logical issues.
There is no such thing as a first mover. That's nonsense. We now know that in modern physics, motion's a relative thing. This is an Aristotelian view of physics, where there has to be a first mover, a person who moves the first domino, and everything falls from that.
No,
sequence.
even in your view, you need a first mover.
Nope, incorrect. Because motion is relative. Einstein demonstrated that motion, what we perceive as motion, is actually an illusion. There is no fundamental feature of change or motion in the universe. It is something that we perceive, relatively speaking. And that's why when it comes to a first mover, it doesn't make any sense according to the universe. Because everybody's version of time is different, and this is called time dilation. So there is no first moment in the universe, because everybody's moment is different in the universe. There is no one moment where everybody shares in the universe. So this is the reason why first mover is nonsense. More importantly, how did God move from a state of no movement to a state of
Bro,
movement
God is
without
unchanging.
time?
God is unchanging. Anything that
Okay.
exists outside of time, matter, and space, right, is an unchanging thing because it
Okay.
literally exists outside of time. So
Okay.
you can't
Well,
apply the concept of
how about
change.
this? How about this? Going from a state of unmoving to
Yeah.
moving, is that change?
No.
So if I'm standing still, so if I stand still, hold on.
How did I? Oh, you're gone.
If I stand still and
Yeah.
then I get up the chair, is that a change?
Yes, because you're
Okay,
applying
great.
this concept
So
in
it's
terms of time.
so the same applies to God. If God doesn't
No.
move and then he starts to move to create a universe, isn't that change?
Okay. How did I define change? I literally defined it as change is only possible if it occurs within time.
Right.
And with your analogy with God, I don't know, like being unchanging and then changing, it wouldn't apply because it's outside of time.
Okay, great. But I'm showing you that in order to do something, you need time to do it in. That's the point you're missing. If all change requires time and God goes from a state of not changing to then changing, or from not moving to then moving, isn't that a state of change?
Wait, should I say again?
If God goes from a state of not moving to then
Yeah.
moving to create a universe, isn't that change?
No, it's not change because I
So
literally explained it
how
like
is
a
it
million
not change?
times.
How is
Because
it not change?
Because at the point of time when he created time, that's when change began. Change is temporal.
Is creating time is a state from no time to then creating time? Is that change?
It depends on how you look at it. The way I'm defining it as
Sir,
Josh,
can you please listen to what I just told you?
I am.
Is going from a state of no time to then creating time, does that require time or change?
No,
Why
because
not? How is that not
it's
change?
not.
How is
Yeah,
that not change?
yeah, because it's not temporal. I swear. If you understand what change
How
actually
do you
is,
know
you
it's
know
not temporal? If all change requires time and that's a change, how does it not require time?
because you're saying at one point it's outside of time, and then you're saying at one point it's within time. So
Okay.
at the
Just saying outside of time doesn't solve anything for you. That doesn't mean
it does.
anything. Saying outside of time is gibberish. What does it mean to be outside of time? That is a non-coherent statement you just made. This is why
Why?
you're
Why?
confused.
Why though?
Because saying outside of time, what does that even mean?
It doesn't matter what it means. Just because I don't understand it, it doesn't mean that it's not true.
That's the problem. The crux
Bro,
of the
wait,
issue
wait, bro,
is that you
wait.
don't
I
know what
don't.
you're
Okay,
talking
wait.
about.
Listen.
Listen, the problem is you don't know what you're talking about, right? If you don't even know what outside of time means, then I can't debate you.
Okay, listen.
You
Look.
don't know what you're debating about.
Okay, look. Yeah. Okay. Look, just because I don't understand quantum mechanics, it doesn't mean that it's not true.
No, there's
The
time
same way.
within quantum
Wait.
mechanics. Quantum mechanics requires time.
Yes, I know, but just because I don't understand it, it doesn't mean that's not true. The same way, right?
That's
Just
not
because
what
we
I'm
can't.
saying. That's a straw man.
That's literally what you're saying.
It's not that you don't understand what it means to be timeless. You don't have a definition for it. It's not
I did.
coherent.
I defined what change was.
No, what is timelessness defined as?
Anything that I don't know that exists without time. Simple.
You can't use the word in the definition.
Yes,
That's
you can. If you said timeless,
I'm asking you, what does timelessness mean?
anything that exists outside of time. Simple.
What does it mean to be outside of time? What does that mean?
I don't know because I don't understand. Like I can't grasp it myself.
Okay,
but like I said, just because you can't grasp,
then I can say there's something outside of God. There's something outside of that God. There's something outside of, like, anybody could say outside of God.
No, but the thing about the first mover, right? It has to be something that's unchanging. So then, if you say it's unchanging, that means that there can't be some other God that calls that God.
Yeah, and that's a problem. This is evidence against the God because God would have to change within time.
Bro,
to
are you good?
move.
Wait, did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said?
I said that it's incoherent.
I said if something is unchanging, there can't be something else that calls that, which means that there can't be another God that calls that God.
Yeah. The problem is that God is changing because he went from a state where there's no universe to creating a universe.
I've literally explained what a change was. If it's not temporal, then you can't say it's change. Stop saying that.
What does it mean to be atemporal? What does that even mean?
Like I said, just because you can't grasp the concept, it
No,
doesn't mean it's
no,
not
no.
true. I
I'm not
can't.
saying I can't grasp it. What I'm
You literally
saying
said,
is that
"What
it's
does it
not
mean?" You said,
defined.
"What does it mean, okay?"
Oh my gosh. You're not understanding, sir. Atemporalness is not a defined thing. Just like snuffleupagus is not defined. It's not that I don't know it or grasp what snuffleupagus monster is. It's not defined. It's a word. Saying timelessness is a word. It doesn't mean anything.
You
So what exactly is timelessness? What
look
is
when
that
yeah
definition? What does that
yeah
mean to be timeless? What does it
okay
mean?
yeah okay. So when you say timeless, it literally like by the word it means like existing without time. If I say
Okay,
spaceless,
what does
it
that
means
mean? What does it mean
yeah
to exist without time? Because that's like saying to exist without existing.
yeah wait
It's
yeah
ridiculous.
yeah okay wait. When you ask me like what it means, right? Like I don't understand like what exactly like you want me to like explain
Because
about.
listen, saying something exists outside of time is like
Yeah.
saying that I exist outside of existence. It doesn't make any sense.
No, that wouldn't make sense because what you said existing outside of existence, it leads to a logical issue. But
Same
saying
with
things
time. Same with timelessness. Same with
no,
timelessness.
there's
Because
okay. What's the issue?
time is something that all
Yeah.
universes require.
Yes, but that's universes, but that doesn't apply to
Oh,
things
all
that
change
exist
requires.
outside.
I'm sorry. All
Yeah.
change requires time.
Yes, but that yeah okay, yeah that's fine. But the thing is, right? There can still be something that causes the universe. It that
Okay, and
that
it's
that
not God, and there's no evidence that it's a God. It could be. It's most likely a quantum fluctuation, not your God. So get over
yeah.
it and give us
But
evidence of your God
okay,
now.
a quantum fluctuation undergoes change as well, so you can't
No, it
really say
doesn't. No, it doesn't. See, this is the problem with you guys that don't understand science.
yeah
Change is an emergent property. In
yeah.
quantum mechanics, things exist in superposition. In other words, multiple states at one time. And in
Yeah,
that sense,
cool.
you don't need change within time.
If it works in in a systematic way,
There's no
then yes.
change. Time is a static thing and exists like just like space in all directions infinitely. Time and
Okay,
space
yeah,
can be infinite in that sense
yeah.
where the universe exists as one block where there is no change. It's just time and space, and that's it.
Okay, first of all, quantum fluctuations, they're not really like well researched about. And second of all, if quantum fluctuations literally work in in a
There is
systematic
no
way,
fucking research for God, so stop this stuff. Give me evidence of your God or go away.
yeah, so there has to be a first mover, and you can't use a quantum.
You can't just say there has to be a first mover because that's nonsense. Prove it, show it, demonstrate it. There doesn't need to be a first mover. It's incoherent, and physics debunks that notion.
Yo,
Observe quantum fluctuations. We can literally observe them. Keep tapping, guys. Keep tapping. Let's get some more victims in here.
um, yeah, I want to debate this with you, but like a real debate. Like,
Okay.
I get that.
Then give me a real argument.
Okay, so do you believe that lying, truth,
It
and
doesn't
lie?
matter what I believe, sir. Give me an
Okay, well,
argument for your God or go away.
we still have to we have to define what everything comes down to. You believe nothing exists because of what you've taken in and what you see in the world,
Sir,
right?
stop babbling. Give me an argument for
You
your
are
God
fucking
or go away.
babbling. Listen.
No, sir, you're not gonna do this. You're gonna give me an argument for your God or go away. Your choice.
All right, fine. We've as in the science field, they've tried to recreate life a million times. They didn't never come close. Show me
Yes, we
show
have,
me
sir. We have
evolution.
made.
Not once have they ever found a bone. They go from dinosaurs. They say that they come from birds. but there's no fucking line of
Birds
bones
are
that.
dinosaurs, buddy. And guess what? We have created life in the lab. It's called red blood designer cells. We can make cells that are actually better functioning than actual natural cells, which tells us all I need to know about your God, that he's a shitty designer. The fact that we, as mere apes, can produce life better than your God tells me that your God is stupid. But more importantly, even if we couldn't create life in a lab, it doesn't mean God is real. What it means is that we are not smart enough to do it yet. That's all it means. But more importantly, it's not evidence of a God. You have presented nothing today that
Well,
even
yeah,
gets
but you
close to
know
it.
science, and you know exactly what they're missing. They're missing the point is that they don't have, they can't create it because they're missing all of it.
No, we're
They
not
can
missing
only
anything.
produce a
Again,
part of
we
it.
can make
There's
life
only a
from scratch.
percentage that they can produce,
Shut,
and they're
stop.
wondering
I
why
just
can't we
explained
figure
this.
it out?
Stop. I just explained this to you. We can make life from scratch in labs. They're called
You're not
designer
making
cells.
life. There's not
Yes,
once
there
have they ever
is. Go take a
produced
look at the
it.
science.
They've
Yes,
never
we can make life
created
from scratch.
anything.
Yes,
Show
we can
me.
make designer cells, sir. Yes, they're not
Okay,
complex as life is
I don't.
today,
I won't argue with
but they're
me.
still
Just
cells.
put it in
Now,
there.
please.
Put a link showing me what they created.
Yeah.
Yo,
What do you got?
alright, so if there is no God, how was this world created? How was the universe
How
created?
old are you?
18?
Yeah. What year were you born?
2000?
You're a very young 19-year-old. This is his fifth 19th birthday. What do you got?
Yo, I just wanted to say, even though you don't believe in God, you should still respect the beliefs of others.
Nah, I'll never
What you guys
respect your
saying?
belief, especially if it's bad and bigoted. I'll never respect it. And if you think that your beliefs deserve respect, surely because you have a belief that you're emotionally attached to, I'm sorry, sir, but that is to me toxicity. And the reason for why there's a lot of harshness and bigotry and racism in the world.
Nah, but you debate a lot of things like
Yeah, and I don't mind having my beliefs disrespected because guess what? I actually have arguments to back mine up.
Hey, buddy, I don't think half the people in here respect science because science is bullshit. If you really research it, you would also know that.
How ironic that you're using science on the phone you're using.
You know
Free
we
from
li-
science.
you know we live in a three-dimensional reality where we only see it from three dimensions. You
Nope,
know how
it's
many
not
color receptors you
three-dimensional,
have?
sir. It's four-dimensional. Now, but more importantly, where's your evidence?
It's four-dimensional.
Yeah,
That is the
three
most
space and one at
stupid
a
shit I
time.
think I've ever
Three a
heard, bro.
space,
That is the
three a
most
space, one at a
stupid shit
time.
I've ever heard.
Three a space, one at a time. Now, where's your evidence of God?
Bro, oh my god, bro. Where's your evidence of science? I just told you.
What do you mean?
We only see it
Science
from
is not an
three-dimensional.
object. Science is a methodology.
A
And
methodology
science.
that is only observed from a three-dimensional perspective. You are
Okay, great.
correct.
So, okay, four-dimensional man, give us your evidence of a fifth-dimensional or a four-dimensional object that you can see.
I don't know. When they testified about aliens, you know how court works, right?
Sir, there are no fucking aliens. They were fake. They were human skeletons that they altered. It's not aliens. Hey, what do you got?
I mean, something else I think she did.
You're
telling
so
me-
stupid.
Ah, that's a great argument. It's one of the best arguments ever I've heard for God.
You're seeing things from a three-dimensional.
Hey, what do you got?
Hello.
What's your argument?
I'm not here to give an argument. Just reminding everyone it's okay to believe in what you're.
Nope, it's not okay to believe in whatever you want. That's ridiculous. I always believe in things that are based on evidence and data and facts. That's the most honest position to have.
Yeah, hi, Mike. I just want to say I love you. You're on the right.
People are so in the comments about 4D. There's three dimensions of space and one of time. That's Einstein's 4D model of the universe. This is a
Hello?
fact. Hey, what do you got?
Hey, so no disrespect or nothing, but you said something about God, like all this religious stuff being bigoted. Like this is towards Christians, right?
Yeah. Now, where's your evidence of God?
No, I just want to. How come you think it's bigoted? Can you give me some evidence or like, just like what you know of?
You think that I'm going to burn and die? You think that you think that people that are atheists are going to burn, right? That's
No, I don't. I don't
disrespectful.
believe in that.
You think that
I read the
you
Bible. I
think that
studied the
people?
Bible.
Oh my gosh, stop! You think
My
that
bad.
people that
But
are LGBT shouldn't have rights, the same rights as us, as other people?
no,
That's the
absolutely not.
problem,
I have a bunch
right?
of gay friends. I pray for my gay friends
Okay.
and all this stuff like that.
What do you mean?
But like I'm trying to
Stop!
say,
Stop!
it's
Stop! Stop! I'm not talking
all
about
right, you
you.
dumbass bitch. Fuck
I'm
you. Give me the
talking.
fuck off this.
Oh, he's mad. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the Bible. I'm talking about the Quran, which can foster these bigoted ideas. That's the problem. It's not about you. Not everything's about you. I'm talking about the biblical nonsense that you believe in. Yes, you as a person might like people that are LGBT, but guess what? Your Bible doesn't. That's the issue. That's what I'm here to fight against. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Get a fucking life.
I am on live. This is my live. But thank you. Hey, what do you got? Hello?
Yo.
What do you got?
Provide a contradiction. Go ahead.
What God do you believe in?
Jesus?
Okay. Do we have free will?
Yeah.
Does God know the future?
He's omniscient.
Does he know the future?
He's omniscient. That answers your question.
Okay. Does God know the future?
He's omniscient.
Okay, great. So you agree that God, okay, so you agree that God knows the future, right?
He's omniscient.
Okay. So if God knows the future and we have free will, how is that possible? It seems to me that they're incompatible with each other because my actions would always align with God's foreknowledge of what I'd be choosing. In that sense, we can't freely choose anything in the present moment. What we're doing in actuality is following God's knowledge, the determined universe that God's foreknowledge allows us to see. That's it. That's the contradiction. So we don't have free will or God's not omniscient.
We do have free will because evil exists.
Yeah, he's 16. Yeah. Hey, what do you got?
What's the thing that happened in your childhood that you can pinpoint that made you so bitter and angry?
I read the Bible and realized it was garbage. That's why. Now, what's your evidence of your magic space wizard?
Have you read the Quran?
Oh, yeah, the Quran's just as bad. Even worse.
Just as bad?
Yeah. Talking snakes, Adam and Eve, Noah's Ark, firmaments, fucking moon split in two. It's nonsense.
So why when we look at simple man-made objects, as simple like as a pencil or something, there has to be a designer behind it, intelligence behind it. But when we look at things so complicated like the universe, we just randomness, things like that. Why?
When you look at the rain come down from the sky, do you think there's somebody in the clouds making the rain come down?
No, but there's an intelligent design behind why the process happens.
Okay, great. So what's the difference between a designed universe and a non-designed universe? A universe that's natural. What's the difference?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, we can tell. So if you're going to say that everything's designed, right, then that means you have no symmetry breaker between a designed universe and a non-designed universe. In other words, you cannot compare the two or contrast the two, which means you can't come to a conclusion as to which one is more likely or not likely. That's why when you say everything's designed, I can just as easily say everything's not designed, and we got nowhere.
There's order, there's intelligence behind things.
And order can be natural.
But you look at how vast the universe is and how precise conditions have to be for life.
Who said it's precise?
That proves that there can't be randomness.
How did you determine that the universe is precise when we only have one universe to compare?
I'm talking about the size of the universe, and we are smaller than a pin drop.
Why does that require a God?
Because it's just how everything has order, how everything has a balance. intelligence behind it.
Starving kids, cancer, that's not balance. Supernova explosions, that's not order.
Why is it not order though?
An explosion is not order, right? See, order and complexity, order and disorder is relative, and as a whole, the universe is going to a higher entropy state, which means that disorder is increasing. So, by your own argument, if God exists, He's allowing the universe to become disorderly. But more importantly, we know that order can exist naturally. Gravity, laws of physics, nuclear force, the weak force, the atomic forces. These combined with matter can yield an orderly pocket in the universe in an ocean of chaos. In other words, if the universe is chaotic around us, even though we are orderly, our order.
So okay. So that's all well and good, like you explaining what we can observe and things like that. How do you don't we have to have a starting point? So how do you explain where things started from?
There doesn't need to be a starting point. But if
why does it? How can there not be a starting point? Everything has a beginning.
Okay, great. Where did God begin?
But that's the point. So before we discuss that. But before we discuss that,
no.
Because you yourself, you have to discuss. So okay,
sir, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say everything has a start, but God doesn't have a start. That's special pleading. Now I may agree with you that the universe had a start, but it doesn't mean God did it. It doesn't mean that you need a God either.
So you need to give your own explanation. So who did it then?
Nobody did it. Just like nobody did the rain.
So if you have a vacuum of nothingness, how long do you have to leave that nothingness for something to come out of it?
There is no such thing as nothingness in physics or science.
So something was already there for where we came from, yeah?
It could have been a prior existence to everything. And in that sense, our local universe may have had a start, but the entire totality of the universe didn't have a start. It was eternal.
Where did you get the evidence for that explanation?
There's no evidence behind the explanation. It's a possibility, a logical and scientific possibility. We don't have.
So you're not denying the possibility of a creator then?
I don't know what a creator is.
Exactly. So that's good. That's a starting point.
No, you don't know what a creator is either, right?
No, I'm talking from your point of view. I know what the truth is, but for you, how
demonstrate the truth? Then demonstrate the truth.
The truth is everything around you. The intelligence, the order that we see. The DNA. How do you explain DNA? How precise and
is God orderly?
What do you mean? Is God or his actions or him or what do you mean? Is God orderly?
Okay. Is everything everything orderly required a designer?
What everything created that is orderly?
Sir, does everything that is orderly require a designer?
Well, yes, because everything has a designer.
Okay, great. Is God orderly?
God is the essence of order. Yeah.
Okay, great. If God is orderly, then that by definition and by your own logic, God.
You know the argument you're making.
God requires a designer. Who designed God? Who designed God to be so orderly then?
Okay, let me answer the question as to why that cannot be logical. If you have to have a creator for every creation or everything that exists,
Sir,
you will never have the ultimate.
You stopped my question. Why
you have a soldier? Okay, let me give you. I need to give you an example.
Listen. If your logic is that everything orderly requires a design, then who designed God? If God is orderly, who?
Please allow me just to explain in one example. It'll take 20 seconds. You have a soldier in the army. He is not allowed to take the shot without an order from his boss. The boss is not allowed to give the order without an order. So you have to have the ultimate decision maker.
All right. This is the Grim Reaper paradox. And the reason why it sucks is because it has no understanding of modern day physics in terms of causality. Time doesn't pass necessarily. And this is what relativity describes. In the Grim Reaper paradox, time has to pass an infinite amount of things. And in that sense, we know now that is the wrong way to view the world. The universe could be infinite in time, and there is no time or things that are traversing or passing through space or through time. The passage of time seems to be an illusion.
Do you believe that the theory of like infinity, for example? How is that logical?
What do you talk? What did you just say?
You were saying about like infinity, for example. So like the universe could there's a theory that the universe could be infinite. You're saying?
Yeah, the universe can be infinite in space and time.
Infinite from what? From existence, or infinite from now?
Infinite in space and in time. In other words, existing in all time and all space.
So you're okay to explain that, to give that as a theory for the universe, but not for God, that He's infinite in
Yeah, because
existence.
God is ill-defined, and a universe that is infinitely in space and time is defined.
So
Your God is not defined.
So in your head, you've in your limited capacity and knowledge, you're okay with the logic of the universe infinity, but not God infinity.
Yeah, because there's nothing logically unsound about it or invalid about it.
To your limited mind, yeah.
But there's many things, no, not just to my limited mind, to logic. Now, when it comes to your God, there is no logic for your God. There's no evidence, let alone for your God. You have nothing for your God. You have a word.
But so all the creation is not the evidence, but for you, the stuff you can't see is the evidence.
You're begging the question of creation in the first place. How do you know this is creation?
This is why there's no point having I'm assuming you're an atheist.
Sir, how do you know that this is creation?
Because of the creation, you have to have. You just look at worldly objects.
Okay.
You walk in the desert. You walk in the desert. You walk in the desert. You see footsteps in the sand. So what is the first thing that goes into someone's mind? There was someone here.
Yeah. If I look at the rain coming down from the sky, does that mean there was somebody in the clouds? Is there a rainmaker?
Why is someone in the clouds? It's the process, the chemical reaction of accumulation.
Exactly. Some things are natural and happen naturally without an agency.
No, because God created the design and the order for these processes to happen.
How do you know that?
Okay, you prove to me that isn't true then.
That's
show me evidence. Show me evidence of the simplest object happening with randomness.
Stop. The burden of proof is on you to demonstrate that there is such thing as creation. Because just as you say everything's creation, I can say everything's non-creation. Again, you have no symmetry breaker between those two notions. This is why you have no evidence or reasoning behind what you believe.
What is more complicated? What is more complicated, the human eye or a pencil?
What's more complicated, the eye or God?
Answer me first and I'll answer you.
The eye is more complicated. Now, is God more complicated than the eye?
So the eye, is the process of random evolution and natural selection. But the pencil, you have to build a factory, and you have to have intelligence behind it and education and.
Sir, evolution is not random, right? Evolution clearly abides by physical laws of nature in the sense that there are causes and effects to things.
So laws are so who made the laws? Or how did the laws happen? Randomness?
No, laws are descriptive of the universe, right? They're not prescriptive. And in other words, there is nobody giving laws to the universe. The laws of nature only exist in our minds in a way to describe the universe and how it works. Because first of all, there doesn't need to be a lawgiver, number one, but number two, and more importantly, God abides by laws. So who the fuck designed God's laws?
With science, it's ever changing. I've listened to like Richard Dawkins, for example, and even in recent interviews, he's had to himself, because of evidence, he's had to himself change his mind and sort of say, well, actually, multiverse theory, there may be some sort of alien thing that starts.
You're going off track. You're going off track.
No, but we have to. The main discussion here has to be: how did the Big Bang happen? Where did that speck that blew up? Who put it there?
Quantum fluctuation, and these exist within all.
Can you explain what that word means? Because I don't have a philosophy degree or whatever it is.
I didn't expect to be Bill Nye tonight, but here I'll do it for you. Before the Big Bang, there was likely, according to inflationary cosmology, a scalar field, a field where space and time exists, but within the space-time are quantum energy fields in the sense that they can fluctuate and they can change and they permeate all of space-time. And these fluctuations can lock in certain ways, and when the energy builds up too much, they can break in the quantum.
Is this a theory?
They can yield quantum particles, which are called inflaton particles, which then precipitate into the matter and energy we know today and the universe you know today. That is how the Big Bang happened.
Is that a theory or is that fact?
It is the theory based on the evidence, and scientific theories are based on facts and data.
Brilliant.
God is
Brilliant.
based on fantasy and feelings.
So you just said, so before the Big Bang, what did you say? Time and space existed.
Time and space are emergent of inflationary energy.
Where did that energy come from?
It was always there, always conserved.
It was always there. How does that make sense? But a creator doesn't make sense, please.
Because the creator is ill-defined, but energy existing internally does make sense logically and scientifically. There's no.
How does so? With science, does science in any theory, any field of science, ever explain or have any evidence of something from nothing?
That's not what I said. That's a straw man. That's what you think. Actually, you think something.
No, I'm asking so I can, because my mind wants to accept that theory. That
Sir, you think one day in an eternal world, God got bored and he said, "You know what? Let me make some people today." He took his magic wand, he waved it, and said, "Poof!" And magically, we all fucking appeared in 6 days. That's what you believe, sir.
But now, so who's going off topic now?
Science.
So now, because you want to live by your own morals and your own what you think is morally right.
You live by your own morals too, sir.
Exactly. No, but I accept my creator's morals. You live by your own mind.
How do you know they're your creator's morals and not your own morals?
Because I have evidence that. Where's
the evidence of God?
Yeah, listen. So God gave me my mind to see and appreciate creation and understand there has to be intelligence behind it.
You're begging the question, how do you know God did it?
Because who else could do something so great?
I don't know, physics. It's called the laws of nature.
So you have a creator still, but you call it physics?
No, there's nothing being created. Physics is a
so
law.
I go back to the question. Stop. In science?
Physics is a law that describes the universe and its workings. The ontology of the universe can be natural in the sense that there is no agency. In other words, what describes the essence of reality does not need to incorporate an agency at all. You are somehow adding an agency to God, to the universe for some reason, because your mind can't grasp the idea that the mind and the brain and the human body came about naturally without agency.
Do you not realize, if you just listen, you're saying my agency is a creator or a God, a being. Your agency is something from nothing. Please, can you explain something from nothing?
No. Do you know what agency means?
No.
Exactly. That's why you're wrong. Because agency means there's a personhood, right? There's a mind behind it. But when it comes to the universe, there is no mind behind physics. It's just nature.
So that's where you've got yourself to through education, through science, you've basically lowered yourself to believing that something can happen from nothing.
No,
just so that you don't follow the creator.
That's a complete straw man. I never said something from nothing. I just explained to you, and I went through a lot of detail trying to explain to you inflationary cosmology.
But that is something. That is something.
Yes.
Is that not a thing?
It was always there. You don't need God.
So it was always there. So you say your logic is that can always be there, but the creator can't always be there. Can you please listen to the sentence?
A creator is ill-defined and unevidenced.
Just define the creator. I just defined a creator. A creator is someone who is not created, and he creates, and he has the wisdom behind his creation.
Okay. Is your creator? Does he have a mind?
Our creator cannot be compared to his creation.
Sir, does your creator have a mind? Yes or no?
No, he has wisdom and knowledge, and
that requires a mind.
So yeah, he has a mind. What's the?
Okay, great. That's the point. What you're saying that the universe requires a mind. I'm saying it doesn't require a mind behind it. That's the difference between you saying, "Well, you could be God." No, that's a difference. The difference.
You've just gone back to the same thing. You've just gone back to.
No, it's not the same thing.
You're happy to accept something.
No, it's not the same thing. You don't need a mind behind the universe. And if there is a mind behind the universe, they did a shitty job. Look at all the people starving and suffering around the world. Look at the wars that are occurring. If there is a God behind this universe,
well, you see, there's no point having these conversations. Listen.
They failed
You're
miserably.
talking about first we need to establish if there is a creator before we start talking about why the creator does certain things. Because
Okay, great. So
you're
establish
again
to us that there's a creator. Give us the evidence of a creator.
But exactly, this is the conversation we need to have. Stop, it's Christians come up and we talk about, well, why does it say this in the Bible, or why
Okay,
does it
so
say this
then
in the Quran?
give us the evidence now.
Exactly, right. Now we can have the conversation. Okay, give me the evidence that something came from nothing.
I never said it did.
Okay, so what is but you said that so something's always existed, that space and energy and time.
Yeah, that's not from nothing.
You just said it, so no one created it and it's always been there.
Yeah, if it's always there, it doesn't have a creator. It's always there.
How does science explain that? What
Wait.
theory, what
Don't you
method
think God is always there?
Yes.
Does he have a creator?
Okay so why are you okay to accept that science and
hold on.
space is always there?
Hold on. Does God have a creator?
No.
Oh, great. So then you
because he can't be the creator.
So then you can conceptualize a universe without a creator being always there.
Because my mind wants to accept that there's a intelligent designer behind something, and not just space and time was always there.
Your mind also
chemical reaction, boom, explodes, around Earth is created.
Your mind also accepts talking donkeys and talking snakes. I would never trust your mind. I would trust the evidence. And if you have no evidence, you don't have a place in this debate.
So everything you've just said is logical to you, but a talking snake is, that's.
Next. Give me evidence or go away.
Whoa.
Hey, what do you got?
Hey, my evidence here, I'd have to say, would be the human consciousness.
What about?
Well, being self-aware, being able to know what we feel, who we are, that has to come from somewhere, because there's nothing else.
Are you driving?
Yeah, if this is distracting, then I can definitely.
Yeah, you sound like you're in a tunnel. And by the way, don't drive while you're on the phone or on TikTok. What do you got?
Yep. Veganism is imaginary. Bye, dude.
Come on, Sarah. Where is your evidence for your God? Let's hear it. And no, you don't need somebody behind consciousness. You don't need a mind behind consciousness. If God's conscious, who designed God's consciousness? Right? You guys are trying to explain away the things you observe with something that has the same properties. It's circular.
Hey, well, I've got one question for you, bro. One question. Why is it that you always go after Christianity?
Okay, great.
Why is it?
Evidence of
Hey,
your
hold
God.
on,
Give
man.
me
Let me
evidence of your
speak.
God.
Let me
Give me
speak.
evidence of your God.
Let me speak, bro. Let me speak. Hold on.
No, you're good. I'm good. Hey, what do you got? Everybody, by the way, follow my YouTube, link in bio. I'm going to be more active on my YouTube. I'm getting a lot more people there. I might go live. I might stream live on my YouTube as well.
Oh no, I think I went into the wrong live. I thought this was about the vegan thing. Sorry.
Don't worry, we'll debate that soon.
Yo, you are weird as fuck, my boy. Straight up.
You believe in talking snakes?
No, I believe you're weird as fuck.
Okay, great. So what are your argument today? What's your argument?
That you're weird as fuck.
Okay. You literally believe a guy died on a stick for you and shed his blood for you 2,000 years ago.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got?
If God is imaginary, if God is a imaginary to you, then just let that be it. Why do you have
No,
to be
I
on
wish it
TikTok
could be
and
this
try to
way. I
convince
wish it could be
people?
this way, but unfortunately, I don't live in a vacuum. I live in a world with other people, and their beliefs can influence their vote, their behaviors, what they say, their actions. Your beliefs, especially your fundamental beliefs, fundamental as God, can influence you in many ways. And that's why I'm here, because people's beliefs can go a long way in harming and causing detriment to other people. They can take away LGBT rights. They can take away women's rights. They can take away gay rights. They can take away education in schools. They can take away critical thinking skills. They can take away rationality and reasoning. They can cause us to be delusional, brainwashed. They can cause us
So
to
what do you believe
fall
in?
victim for scams.
So you don't believe in anything?
I believe in things that are based on evidence. That's the only thing that is honest to believe in.
Okay, so um who created the cell? Like cells and molecules, and who
Well,
created all that?
there's something called organic chemistry in which you have very simple molecules like polypeptides, peptides. They can come together
Where do
and form a
peptides come
pigment.
from?
Yeah, these peptides form from gases in the
Where do
earth.
gases come from?
The gases it could have always existed in some state.
Where did existence come from?
Could have always been there.
Well, no, it's just well, where did existence come from?
Well, that's like asking where did God come from, right? It's an invalid question.
Can you tell me where existence come from?
Can you tell me where God comes from?
The Bible said he always was.
Okay, great. So we
He's
can say
always
the universe.
existed.
Then we can just as easily say the universe always was.
Okay. So, but you said God is imaginary. So, imaginary is someone like when you think about the word imaginary. You have an imaginary friend. If I'm sitting there talking to someone and you're like, who is she talking to? Oh, she's talking to her imaginary friend.
Yeah, that's the same thing with your God, right? Your God's imaginary in the sense that you talk to it, but there's nobody on the other side. You're just talking to yourself, but you think it's God. That's the problem here. I want to believe in things that are true and factual. I don't want to believe in imaginary friends.
So can you touch your thoughts?
Thoughts are physical reactions of the brain. They're
Can you
electrical.
touch them?
Yes, we can observe thoughts, we can measure thoughts, and we
Can
can
you?
decode
No, you
thoughts.
cannot.
It's called Neuralink. It's
Can
called
you
fMRI.
touch your intellect?
Do you know what an effort? Yes, intellect are thoughts. Intellect is another word for describing thoughts, and thought
I
patterns in the
think we
brain are
got
things that we can
here
physically touch.
before. I think we got here before, and the last time I spoke with you, you were afraid when I told you to call a doctor. Remember? And I wanted to hear a doctor tell me that they can see a thought. Remember? You remember me,
Yeah, now I
but
know
you
why I
were
picked
afraid to
you.
do
Okay,
so
so
because you didn't want to
thoughts.
get proved wrong on
So
your platform.
yeah, so
How
if
much
you want
money do you make doing this?
not much, man.
Because I
Now
want to get into this too. I want to say, I want to say, cats.
okay, so fMRI machines can observe thoughts. We can decode signals from our brains. Your thoughts in the brain are just chemical reactions. They're neurochemical reactions. Electrical energy can move throughout your nerve endings, throughout your body, and throughout your neurons, in your synapses, which then yield these brain waves. And these brain waves are the responses to these interactions between your brain chemistry. And when we take a look at these brain waves with an fMRI machine, we can take those waves, we can put them on a screen, we can put them on paper and decode these thoughts and understand what they are, how powerful they are, and what kind of thoughts they refer to. It's amazing stuff. And if you simply took some scientific lessons, you know this. But unfortunately, you just want to ramble. So go ahead and give us your argument now.
See, but my question last time that you continue to avoid and you're still avoiding again without connecting anything to a human body, can you see my thoughts right now? Can you tell me what I am thinking right now without a machine? Answer my question, yes or no. The answer is no.
Okay, just because I can't see
The
with my
answer is no. That's the answer. So again, if I cannot see God, if you can't see,
just because we can't see it with our eyes doesn't mean they don't exist or that they are immeasurable. That's a fallacy. There we
Quick
go.
question. Quick question. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, what do you got?
Well, I actually stand on the side of agreement with you and wanted to know if you think that God is, or a science out there is closely depicting God as quantum physics. Like, do you think
If you're
God
gonna
can be
if you're gonna
described
say
through
that
quantum
God
physics?
equals quantum physics, then of course God exists. Just like if I equate this bottle of water as God, then of course God's real, right? Because God is just a word; it's just a placeholder, right? So, what's your actual argument for this supernatural God, this God that defies physics and logic?
I wanted to get your perspective, not argue. So,
Okay, have a good day. People seem to be scared of arguing, right? Arguing isn't always a bad thing, right? Arguing means that you have a reason, you have something to fight for, you have a reasoning, right? You have logical syllogisms that you can say, and then we can battle between which logic is better or superior. That's what argument means. It doesn't mean that you just go, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. That's not what I mean by argumentation.
Can you shut your fucking mouth?
Can your God do it? Your God can. If your God exists, he can do it. So let's see if he'll do it.
I don't believe in that shit. Just shut your fucking mouth.
He didn't do it. Yes, he's not real. You don't have to be here. Nobody forced him to be here. Hey, what do you got?
Hi, I was in here earlier and you said, well, wake up atheists. So I don't know what you believe in.
Wake up, atheists. What do you got?
Yeah, I was wondering if you heard about the theory that AI is actually God trying to live through, created this whole thing and wants to have a human experience.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I think if God exists forever, why would he wait billions of years just so that we could come here, invent AI, and then come through it like some? He could have done it billions of years ago. I think that idea is nonsense. Now, do you have any actual
So,
arguments for God?
no, I don't know what created all.
Okay, well, there's no creation, so no need to worry about who created it because there is no creation. Hey, what do you got?
Hi, Mike. How are you doing? So
Great.
I have this question for you try to understand what it is the meaning of God in your concept. You
Imaginary.
said you are saying that God it's imaginary, so it's God, it's a word, right? And so as
Yeah.
a
So, what's your evidence for God? What is your evidence for God now?
I'm telling that there is no evidence for God because God is a concept.
Okay, great. Have a good day. That was easy. Hey, what do
How
you
you
got?
doing, mate?
What do you got for us?
Well, you know the body's made up of so many different parts. Yeah, it's made up of bone, tissue, muscle.
Hey, great. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, well, let me finish. Don't be rude. Just let me finish what I've got to say. Um, what's the come on, you seem like a very clever man to me. So what is the invisible part of the body? What you call that?
My asshole? I can't see my asshole.
Yeah. No, that's you don't see where I'm trying to get at here, do you? Right. So you got eyes, you got a nose. Yeah. Come on, you're an intellectual. You know the score. You know what I mean?
Sir, what is your
What?
point? What is your point here? Can you
Okay.
get to the
What
point
I'm
now?
trying to say is, like, what is the invisible part of the body?
There is no
You know, the,
invisible. You're not invisible. This isn't
you know
Harry
when you
Potter.
know, you know when you die. How many grams leaves your body when you die?
You don't lose grams when you die in any measurable sense that would correlate to a god. That study was not actually even a study, right? There was two subjects and it wasn't conclusive nor repeatable. Okay, the 26 gram stuff has been debunked and it's no longer relevant. Hey, what do you got? Next.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what do you got?
So I'm not really here to give you proof of God necessarily, but I just wanted to go out and say I personally believe in God. But
Okay,
just
I
like
don't give a shit what you believe. Where's your
no,
evidence for that?
yeah, that's fine, and I respect what you believe. I'm just saying there's no inherent evidence of the.
Okay, thank you. Next. I don't care what you believe. I could care less.
My evidence is, do you have any evidence that God doesn't exist?
Sure, which God do you believe in?
I'm agnostic, so I just believe in the higher power. But if you don't have evidence of that, it's easier for me to believe in God than to believe not in the God.
What's a higher power? What is that?
I don't know. Something.
Okay, well,
It's easy.
something. Okay. What do you go? How do you work with that? When people say higher power, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, what do you mean by higher power? Like a rocket ship, a plane, like that has more power. But like,
Mikey,
what do you mean?
Mikey.
What do you got?
So I'm just wondering, why don't you debate like real people and just like Moshe? Remember when Moshe schooled you? Like, why
Oh,
don't you
wait,
debate real
okay,
people
great. So
instead of
what was
kids
the
on
argument?
TikTok? Because you sit on TikTok all day debating like
Yeah. So what was the
little
argument that
kids.
destroyed me? What was the argument that got me?
Just go on YouTube and watch it. Everyone on here, go on YouTube,
Okay,
type
great.
in Mike versus Moshe,
What was
and
the
yeah,
argument? What was the argument?
go watch it on YouTube, Mike.
What was the argument?
I haven't watched the video. It was like what, 6 months ago?
Oh,
A
you
year
don't know
ago?
what it was. Oh, but I got destroyed, but you don't know what he said.
Everyone on here, go on YouTube, search Mike versus Moshe, and you'll see.
Okay,
You'll see.
great. Go do
Mike,
that.
you
But
sit
guess
on here
what?
all
What's the
day
argument?
and
What's
you
the
debate
argument?
little
You made
kids
a
who don't
claim.
know
You made a
anything. You
claim,
debate
sir.
kids who
Stop.
don't know anything.
You made a claim that I got destroyed. What was the argument that
Everyone on
destroyed
here,
me?
search up Moshe versus Mike.
Okay, great. You don't know what you're talking about. Next. Moshe hasn't destroyed anything. Hey, yeah. What's your argument?
I would just like to say that on the U.S. dollar bill, it says, "In God we trust." I don't see how you convince about 8 million people that God is
In
imaginary.
Hagrid, in Harry Potter, Hagrid said that Harry's a wizard. That means Harry Potter's real?
Okay, so you're saying he's imaginary, but for every dollar that is spent, a person has to look at "In God we trust."
Oh, yeah, that's right. In God we trust. That means he's real. The dollar bill says it.
Hey, ¿me escuchas? ¿Hablas español?
Un poquito.
¿Un poquito? Ok.
Imagine if I start debating in Spanish.
Hi. Okay. My argument is that if the Bible is a claim, then science more or less is supportive evidence of that claim, with the disclaimer that any miracles or anything would be an obvious outlier, as it's also an outlier in the source text. And end of
Great.
argument.
So you have a book that makes a claim about miracles, and you think that science proves that? What are you talking
Well,
about?
I mean, like the creation myth is like the easiest thing people use to debunk the Bible, And that in and of itself is more or less scientifically sound. While ancient cosmology isn't perfect, a lot of science is imperfect until gaining new evidence.
Great. So, what is
But
your argument for God? That there's a creation story and that science backs up creation?
that so far, the claims in the Bible are pretty sound and able
Really?
to be backed
Oh,
up.
really? Talking donkeys are sound? Talking snakes, Noah's Ark, Adam and Eve, these are all sound ideas?
Well, I mean, the talking snake and Adam and Eve is all poetic writing. If you're gonna take a book that's not a surface
Oh,
level text, I
oh,
mean,
so
I know you're
everything,
smart enough to
everything
think
that
critically.
defies
Like I
knowledge
know you're used
is
to people just being ignorant.
everything that defies knowledge is to you poetic or metaphorical. Why isn't everything else metaphorical? Why isn't God metaphorical for that matter? You can't just say whatever defies science is metaphorical, and whatever aligns with science, oh, that's, trust me, that was meant to be that way. You need a way of knowing the
It's
difference
not
between what is to
just
be
a
taken
convenient
metaphorically and what
whatever
is.
disagrees with science is poetic. It's an actual rabbis say what parts are poetic and what parts are like historical, what parts are
Rabbis, I don't give a
ethnographical.
shit about a
And
rabbi. I give a shit about
well,
evidence.
you should because they are the ones who understand the source text of my religion that
Okay, I don't.
justifies and is
It
the
doesn't.
basis of
That has
my
no
belief in
bearing.
God not being
That has
imaginary,
no.
which
That
is the topic at hand. I don't know why.
having a rabbi or an authority say something about your Bible gives no more credence to your position. The problem is that you still have a book that is scientifically inadequate. It does not describe anything about reality and is anti-science, if anything. You have still yet to demonstrate that your Bible is true. Go ahead and give me evidence that the Bible is true, that every claim in the Bible is true, and that God exists, therefore. Go ahead. Give the argument or go away. Last chance.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Yeah, so if the source text is complicated, you can't just take it at a surface level.
All right, have a good day. Hey, we won.
Good evening.
What is your argument?
My argument. First of all, what's your religion?
I believe in the great penis monster. He's a big penis.
Oh, come on. Don't act like a child.
I'm serious. It's the big
Don't
penis
act like
guy.
a child.
What is your argument for God now?
So, where do I start? In the Bible, there are many prophets, I don't know the word, many things that have proven that it's true. And if you really think that God exists or something and you try it and you pray, then he will prove it to you.
Okay, let's try it. God, please reveal yourself to us today. I believe in you. I love you. Amen. Oh, didn't work. What else you got? What else you got?
God takes his time.
Oh, how long does he take? An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? What's his lag?
We can't know. Maybe
How
he
convenient.
will.
How convenient that you don't know the time. That you get to make these claims and pretend as if God will get here one day, but never know when. And that you'll always be right because you always will say, whatever never happens, you just say, well, it takes us time. This is ridiculous. This is not how we do critical thinking. We need a way of knowing that your God is actually answering our prayers. How do you know that?
So look, I was an atheist for a very long time. Very, very long time.
Okay, I don't give a shit. Next. Hey, what do you got?
Yo, I reckon you're a fucking bitch, hey. Come suck my dick, buddy. Come suck my dick. Hey, I'm doing your mum right now. Doing your mum. Bang, 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 bang.
Hey, what do you got?
For crazy people. Oh my god, I've just heard the previous one. So just what do you need a proof that God exists? That's what you need.
Yeah.
So I just want to tell you that God's supposed to be exist in you. If it's not existing in you, if you don't see things that feels like supernatural things, or you wake up and you see just a miracle in your eyes, and then you know, oh, there is supposed to be a God. If you don't have it, so God does not exist in you. You know what I'm saying?
Where in me does he exist? Up my ass?
No, it's not
In my
what I
scrotum?
meant.
Is he in my scrotum?
No, for example,
Okay. Where is he?
where is God? Everywhere, everywhere. If you are in
Everywhere.
London, he's in
Okay, so
London.
he's up
If
my
you're
ass and in my scrotum at the same time. Wow. That's
yes,
amazing. That's it. God is amazing.
in
Okay.
your nose, in your ass, everywhere.
Oh, okay, great. So how do you know this?
Because I've seen miracles.
Like what?
I felt like God is with me. I was drowning in the middle of a sea, and I said my last prayer, and I felt like I'm gonna die. That's it. I knew that I'm gonna die. Seriously, I'm telling you a true story. I was in the middle of a sea, a big sea.
Okay, I understand. I'm happy you're here.
And yeah, and
I'm
now
happy
I'm
you
alive.
survived. But how about the people that do drown, right? How about like Matthew Perry who drowned? Does that mean that God didn't like
Matthew
him?
Perry didn't die from a heart attack.
Well, he drowned to death.
He drowned.
Yeah, and many other people drown to death every year, right? So why did God ignore those people, but he saved you by coincidence? I don't see how that's possible.
And what about the 6 million Jews in the Holocaust that didn't survive?
Yeah, was God at the bar or something at the time? Was he busy
So
playing PS5?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because of the horrific and the non-horrific things that's happening in the world, someone controls that. Even if it's not God, if it's Illuminati, okay? Someone controls that. Do you know what I'm saying? There is someone that's doing all of those stuff.
Okay, great. So who's doing God?
Maybe Illuminati is the God.
Okay, who's doing them? Like who's making them go? Like the problem is that you're trying to explain all these things by just saying Illuminati or God. These are just words. These are just fillers. I'm asking for evidence. I'm asking for evidence that these people are
So
doing all this.
I felt like in my heart, in my soul, that there is a God. You should, if you don't feel it yourself, you should just, I don't know,
Let me
experience
try. Let me
something
try.
supernatural like death or something.
I feel in my heart and soul that there's a penis monster and he's coming inside all of us and he's rock hard right now. Anybody can say that, right? I'm asking for evidence of your garbage. Where's your evidence of the shit you're saying?
I can show you a picture of me in the ambulance when you want me to show you. It's supposed to be a proof with yourself. You need to feel it. I cannot bring you my
Okay, what does
feeling
God feel like? What does God
after
feel like?
the paramedics saved my life.
Man, what does God feel like when he's inside you?
It feels like in my soul. I feel like I was born again. That's
Okay,
what
what
it
does
feels
it
like.
feel like? What does it feel like to you? Is it just like a feeling, or how do you know it's God and not just your own feeling?
I just know. You just know.
You just know, right?
You know
And I
it
can say
in
that for every fucking
each
religion I want
bone,
to.
each part of your body. You just super feel it. I don't know how to explain it, because I felt I droned, and then I just got into my life back, and
I
minutes
understand.
before
I
I
understand
drowned,
you were drowning. I understand you were drowning, and I'm happy that you're fine. But I'm asking you for what your data and evidence is for this being, right? Just give us the. If you have no evidence, just tell me. If you're gonna say I just know, well, anybody
it's
can use
not
that.
I just know, it's just that's what I'm saying. God exists in everyone. We just need.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore. I tried, guys. I tried. What do you got?
Blessed good night. Blessed night, my brother. Blessed night, everyone.
Yeah, did God bless all the people that are starving right now? Can God bless them? How about the people in Gaza? Can God bless those people? Or is he busy playing fucking World War III or busy playing Call of Duty?
Well, what I can prove is when I wake up in the morning every day and I breathe, I thank the Father, the Most Almighty, for waking up, having life, health, and
Okay, good.
strength to see
So how do
another
you know
day.
that this Father exists? Please give us the
Well,
evidence for your garbage now, please.
well, in reality, God exists all around us because
He's all around us, but when you go to look to find it, he's never there. Oh, what a coincidence. He's all around us, but nowhere at the same time. Wow. If God is everywhere, he's nowhere. It's the same thing. They're the same things. What do you got?
My
What do you got?
free will. We have the free will to choose if we choose God, and
Okay. So that means God is real because you have free will. First of all, we can reject that. We don't have free will. Free will is nonsense. But even if we had free will, it still doesn't explain away evil. It still doesn't explain away why there's bad things that happen around us. Because God could have made a world where we have free will, yet we always choose the good things.
really,
Yeah, really. It's called logic.
how so? Because if we didn't have the choice, if we didn't have the ability to do otherwise, how is that
Okay.
real free will?
Let me say it this way. Does God have free will?
Yes.
Does God ever choose to do evil?
No.
Great. So you can have free will and always choose good, correct?
Correct.
Great. So God could have made a world where we all have free will and all of us in that world always choose the good option. Hence, evil never has to exist.
Damn. You just convinced me, man.
Really?
No, I'm playing. I'm playing. I was.
So what's your counter? What's your counter?
Well, my counter, that if I was a Christian, if I did believe in God, my counter would would probably be that, try to like make a distinction, be like, oh, God can do that because he's God or whatever. That's what they always say anyway.
Yeah.
And then
You have a
to
counter?
that, I would
I'm
say,
still waiting for the fucking counter. You laughed it off as if that was a joke, but it
no,
is a
no,
joke.
brother, I'm on your side, bro. What? I laughed because
Okay.
I was
Have a good day.
joking.
What do you got?
I heard a testimony today, but so we'll just say this is correct, right? We'll just assume that this is true, that this woman, she was 16 years old, took 32 painkillers in effort to kill herself, right? And then she went to sleep, and she woke up. I'm just kind of curious what you say, because this is what she claims to be true. So scientifically she would have died, right?
Well, sir, not every person that takes drugs dies because they overdose. Not every person that overdoses dies, right? This is called statistics. It's like the body, the human body is
16-year-old
very
girl though.
resilient. It is not always going to be so fragile. But the point is that if there's 1 million people who are overdose, 1 or 2 of them are going to survive.
Okay. I did have a counterpoint, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah.
We don't know what this person was, what her body was like. Did she eat stuff before it to absorb perhaps the drugs? There are many reasons as to why we can dismiss what you're saying and explain with other explanations.
Oh, okay. The thing we learned at the part of what they were teaching was that an evidence for your faith and stuff would be like an increasing love for God and others.
Okay, well, if your God is about love, then why doesn't he love people in Gaza? Why doesn't he love people that are starving, that need help? Hey, what do you got?
Hey, man. First of all, I just want to say I think that until your heart is ready to be open to seeing God, anything that anyone tells you
I would
is
know my
gonna.
heart's ready. What kind of heartbeat do I have to have? What's the ppm? 60, 70 ppms?
No, that's not it. All I'm saying is that if you want to see God and your heart is like full of hate and anger towards him, like you're saying to people that talk to you,
I'm so hateful. Okay. See, I was a Christian, sir.
listen.
I was a Christian for 20 years. Okay. I know what it's like to be a Christian. I know what it's like to believe. And I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that I don't take it seriously, or I don't
Dude,
have a good
you
heart.
lead your
That's
conversations
ridiculous.
by saying to
You
people that
don't
are
know
trying to
me.
talk
You
to you by
don't.
saying, "Okay, tell me your garbage." That's what you say.
Yeah, that you have
That's
garbage right now. You've given me garbage, right?
how's that? I haven't even said anything that matters at all.
You said my heart is hardened. That's nonsense. I'm asking for evidence of a God.
With a hard heart.
What do you mean by a hard heart? How do you tell the
Your
difference?
heart is so hard, yet you want to
How do you know
see
that? How do you know that? How do you know that?
something that
What does that mean?
requires for your
What does
heart to
it mean? What does
long.
it mean? What does it mean to be hardened?
Exactly what you're doing.
Like what? Like what?
When you a great example, because I haven't been on this feed for very long, but
Okay.
when someone's talking to you about something and you say, oh, I thought you cut me off, and you say to them, okay, tell me your garbage.
Okay. I was a Christian for 20 years. Why didn't God reveal himself to me during those times when I didn't have a hardened heart, when I was a Christian, right? If I consider myself a Christian and I believed in God and I knew I didn't have a hardened heart at the time, in my view, then why is it that God didn't reveal himself in that moment? And why is it that people like Matt Dillahunty and other atheists that are living today were once Christians or even pastors? Why is it that even by their own logic and their own understanding of Christianity, they didn't have hardened hearts, but they still became atheist? They still left their religion. Why is that? And how do you explain that? How do you explain that fact? Because it seems to me that if you think that I have a hardened heart, well, then anybody that doesn't have a hardened heart would see God and know God and never become an atheist. So go ahead and explain why there are atheists. Why?
Atheists are people that choose there's no God, right?
No.
That's the bottom line. I
No,
decide.
it's not. It's not. Atheists don't believe in a God. It doesn't mean they say there
Right.
is no God. But again, go ahead, explain it. Why are there atheists if God always reveals himself to people with no hardened heart?
With no hardened heart. Your heart is hard, man. The evidence is really clear to
Okay.
me.
How about the people that were Christians before and then became atheists? Why didn't God go to reveal himself to them?
God does reveal himself every day, but if our hearts are hard, we can't see what
How
he's
does God,
pointing out
okay,
to
great.
us.
How does God reveal himself to you?
We can't see what he points out to us if our hearts are hard.
Okay,
Don't
great.
wait.
So how
Hang in
does
there. Hang
God
in there with
reveal
me.
himself to you? How does he reveal himself to you?
Okay. First of all, my heart is his. I have given him my heart. Okay.
Sir, I don't
And
care.
that's fine. And
How
I
does
understand you
God,
don't.
sir, how does God reveal himself to you?
He reveals himself to me through the love that I'm surrounded in, through all kinds of ways daily. The way
Okay, great. So you're
I
saying
can help
so
answer
you're
your
saying,
question personally direct.
stop. So
Okay,
you're
I'll
saying
stop.
that you love somebody, that you
No,
feel love, and therefore that means it's God?
no, I'm not saying that
Great. So where is God? How do you know God is there revealing himself to you?
because I want you to hang in there. If I can get through this, let me just make a statement here all the way to the end. First of all, it starts with me having a soft heart and wanting to discover him. And I understand you said you've sought him for 20
Please
years.
answer the question. How do you know that God reveals himself to you? How do you know that?
Man, because of the Holy Spirit, and he left that with us, and those
Okay, how do you know he left it with you? How do you know that there's the Holy Spirit?
because as you grow a relationship with God, you can become more and more sensitive to the things of God, but that does not happen with a hardened heart.
Okay, great. So how do you know that God talks to you? How do you know that?
It's something that I grow in.
Okay, how do you know it? How do you know that God talks to you? What's the mechanism?
Sometimes I think I'm hearing from the Lord and I'm not. So not
Great. So
I'm
how
not
do you
always
trust
on.
yourself in deciding when God
The
reveals
way
himself to you and when he doesn't? How do you know that?
the way that you can straight up tell if God is talking to you about something is by measuring it to what in the word is called the fruit of the spirit. So you can tell if it's you in your
Okay,
emotions.
how exactly do we do that?
Yeah, this is like logistics. I'm not even talking about anything but facts here.
Logistics?
This
You mean
is
logic?
logistics.
Okay, great. We're talking
You
about
like that, don't you? You like logistics. You like
no,
it
I like
technical.
logic, not
Right.
logistics.
Okay. This is
I'm
how
asking,
it's.
sir, please, can you explain to me how you know that God reveals himself to you? How do you know that?
Yeah. Respectfully, I will. So the way that God reveals himself to me is through a sense of the Holy Spirit. And when you hear that, you're going to do things like that, like your expression on your face right now. And that means you're
Because
closed off to it.
you're circular right now.
No,
How?
man. No, you have to, it starts with.
Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time for you. Right? You seem to be having some difficulty here. I'm asking you how you know that God reveals himself to you in the spirit, right? I know you have to have a soft heart, whatever the fuck that means. I'm asking, how do you know? What is the methodology that you use to determine that God is revealing himself to you? And it's not just some random feeling you're having. Okay? So decipher the difference. If you can't do that, you're going to go by and by. So here's your last chance to give the methodology and the evidence. Go. Please unmute yourself, sir. We can't hear you if you're talking. Unmute, sir. Unmute yourself.
Hey, man, I'm so sorry about that. Are you good?
Yeah. Now answer, please.
The answer is this. If you can totally find what God is speaking to you by measuring it off of the way Jesus lived his life. You can.
I just can't. I just can't.
Don't do it over there.
Hello?
Hi. I would just like to tell you that God is 100% real.
Okay, how old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2005, March 7th. Why are you asking?
Okay, great. So where's your evidence for God?
If you don't believe in God, what do you believe in? Science? Okay, in that case, what do you think created this earth and what do you think created us humans? Tell me.
I like how you're answering my questions for me. I don't believe in science. Science is a methodology. But when it comes to creation, there doesn't have to be creation. The universe could have always existed.
I'm sorry, what do you mean there doesn't have to be creation? Everything has a creator.
Then what created God?
God is the ultimate creator.
Oh, okay. How convenient that he doesn't need a creator, but the universe does.
Yes,
Why
the
does
universe
why does
does.
the universe why does the universe need a
God is
creator,
the
but God
ultimate
doesn't?
creator. There is no creator above him. He
Okay, great.
created.
So why can't we say that the universe is the ultimate existence and there's nothing beyond the universe?
I mean, I can't tell you there's nothing beyond the universe, and you can't either. You don't have any physical evidence. You can't tell me the Big Bang created the Earth, and you have no, that's just a theory. Just like I can believe in God, and of course I can't
Right.
100% factually prove that to you. I don't have
Right.
factual evidence, just like you don't have
Yeah.
factual evidence for any faith that you do have. But
I don't have faith.
let me just tell you one
Man,
thing.
no. You're not going to keep speaking. You're going to give me evidence for your God or go away. I'm asking for evidence of God. I know you can believe in God. I'm asking for reasoning.
The Holy Bible, there's prophets and there's eyewitnesses in the Bible. And right, get out of here.
Okay, great. So how do you know the Bible's reliable or truthful?
Source. What do you mean? It's the Holy Bible. It's been translated. Yes, it's been.
How do you know the Bible is true?
It tells us that Jesus died for our sins on the cross.
It doesn't mean it's true.
It is true. It is true.
How do you
you
know?
might have
How
your
do you
own
know?
truth.
How do you know? How do you know?
You might have your own truth as well, but you have no factual evidence for that either. Everyone has their own
For what?
reality, own beliefs.
What
But
don't I
I
have
choose to
evidence
believe
for?
the truth and
What
follow
don't,
the truth, which is God. God is the truth
ma'am,
and the way.
listen. What don't I have evidence for?
Whatever you believe in, you probably don't. Give me evidence for what you believe in.
I don't believe in anything that I
Why
don't
don't you
understand
believe in
or
God?
don't have evidence for. Everything I believe has evidence for it. It seems to me
Okay,
that
what do
you
you
have
believe
no
in?
evidence
What do
behind
you
a God.
believe in? You believe the
I
universe just came out of nowhere?
No. That's what
You
believe.
believe in? Do you
That's what
believe
you
in the
believe.
Big Bang? No, I believe our ultimate creator created the universe.
Okay. Do you know what the Big Bang is?
Yes, it's a theory. It's not real.
What is the Big Bang, though? What is that?
It's a theory. It's a theory created
What
by
is
some
what
man
is
a
the
long time
model?
ago that two rocks
Ma'am,
came together and
ma'am. No, it's not
created
two
the
rocks. It's not two rocks.
two meteor, whatever the fuck. But the
No, it's
truth
not two
is,
meteors. No. The
okay, then tell
universe,
me, where's your factual evidence for the Big Bang? Where's your
cosmic,
factual evidence? You don't have
cosmic,
any.
great. The cosmic microwave background radiation. We can observe this with telescopes.
And how
Big
is this?
Bang.
How is this proved? What did you saw the Big Bang with the telescope?
Yes, it's called cosmic microwave background
Oh, you did.
radiation. Yes,
You saw the Big Bang with the telescope.
yes. We have a picture of
And
it. It's called the CMB picture.
how do we have a picture of it if we weren't even created when it happened?
Because that's not what the Big Bang means.
Okay, so then how do you believe we were created? How do you believe
We were.
you think we
We
came
we
from
were.
you think we
We
came from
were
apes?
created.
You think
We
we
were.
came from gorillas?
We are apes.
You think we're apes?
Yes, we are definitely apes. We have ape brains,
Are
ape
you just an
eyes, ape
instigator?
fur.
Are you just an instigator? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna just pray for you, and I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's just say I do believe in God. I do follow Christ, and I live a good life, and I live happy. I love others just like God loves me. I do good on earth, whatever. I just live a good life, and I follow Christ, and you don't. And you follow you think you're your ultimate power, you're the source you go to, whatever, and you live your life. And then, whatever, we die, and then guess what? Maybe God is real, maybe God's not, but if he is real, that's great. I'm going to spend eternity with God in heaven, and you're not. And then, if he's not real, oh well, I still lived a wonderful, great life. So why don't you consider that? And why don't you pray?
Because why don't you consider the fact that there are thousands of religions that you could be wrong about? That you don't. It's not
Okay,
either God or no God.
but
There's
God is a
billions
fair
of
God.
religions.
Our
Well,
God is
There are millions of religions that we can both be wrong about, including you. You could be wrong about the penis monster. You could be wrong about spaghetti monster. You could be wrong about Mithras, Horus, Zeus, Dionysius, Thor, all the different gods in the world, and an infinite number of possible gods that could exist. You could be wrong about all those as well. So the fact that you think that you're safe because you believe in one more God than me, when there are an infinite number of possibilities, is laughable. You are in no better position than me in any significant sense, especially not in a significant sense that would warrant this belief in this ridiculous nonsense called the Bible, which we know is not true, which we know is debunked by modern science, which you don't understand. But have a good day. A couple more guests in here. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you.
Hello?
What do you got?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. So I kind of want to do like a little thought experiment, if that's okay. You know, like, let's say I'm blind. I was born blind, right? And I want you to prove to me that, like, the color green, for example, exists. How can you do that?
Yeah, I couldn't prove to you that the color green exists, right? But
Yeah.
what I could do is demonstrate that it's a possibility, a logical possibility.
Yeah.
Let's see where this is going.
But what would I need to do in order to believe that exists? Like,
You don't need to do anything. You just need good reasoning to have a belief in it.
well, the thing I was thinking about, like, if I could experience it, right? Like many other thing, you know, even if I was blind, I could still disapprove like the existence of the moon, or, you know, if I don't see it, if I've been living under.
So what is your evidence of God, and how do you know that God's there if you can't observe it in any way?
Well, the thing is about that is, you know, what God represents. I mean, of course, there's many different gods, right? You have the Egyptians had their gods, the Romans had their own gods, but it's more what does it represent? What does the spaghetti monster represent, right? And when it comes to God, the Abrahamic God that I believe in is that it is what, you know, what it represents. In the Bible, it says God was created in the image, or human beings were created in the image of God, right? So
Okay,
I think,
I frankly don't care about what your Bible says. I'm talking about evidence and data. How do you know that God exists?
well, I think about, you know, my own cognition, right? My own thoughts, my own, like, how can you? I think that if you don't believe in God, then you can't believe in your own consciousness, because God created our consciousness.
Yeah,
You know, like,
that's so. Not only that's not true, but that's also begging the question. We know that consciousness can arise naturally. It's called biochemistry, bioelectricity. But more importantly, there doesn't have to be a God. Just because we can't explain it doesn't mean God did it.
yeah, well, I mean, well, God, let's say, you know, in the Bible it says God created the universe and everything, right? Is a creator. God is a creator. But
Yeah,
when it comes to human
what's your
beings,
evidence? How do you know that God exists, sir? One last chance.
okay, so we human beings, we create a lot, right? We can even terraform Mars, right? We want to do things, but we do things that is basically godlike. It's almost like we are created in the image of God itself.
Okay. We also masturbate. We also, do all kinds of weird things. Does that mean God
Yeah.
masturbates too?
The thing is, God doesn't really have a physical body. but
Okay,
it's more
great.
of the consciousness.
Great. Okay, great. I can think about sinning. Can God do that? I can have lustful thoughts. Can God have lustful thoughts?
Well, the thing is, when God created the whole universe, basically, God only had good thoughts about what he wanted to create. Because if he didn't have good thoughts,
Does God
then
think about lust? Does God have lustful thoughts?
if God have got, well, if God created us in his image, then I guess, we human beings represent God. So,
Sir, I'm going to ask you one last time. Does God have lustful thoughts?
possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Okay.
Yeah, because,
Then it follows that it's possible that there are things that we have that God doesn't have, such that you cannot make a connection.
well, the thing is, I just find it strange when it comes to my own consciousness, and how sophisticated and kind of crazy how much
Yeah,
we
it
can
is crazy.
imagine.
It is a crazy to us because we don't know much about the universe. But it doesn't mean it's inexplainable, and it doesn't mean God did it. Right? This is God of the gaps. You can't just say, "Oh, consciousness is amazing, but therefore God." That's a fallacy. There does not need to be a God behind it. No matter how complex or amazing consciousness is, it doesn't mean God did it. He has no more credence to God than any other worldview.
But we are creators, right?
No. What do you mean by creating?
And we're creating everything. We're creating planes, we're creating cars, we're creating
Yeah,
even
but
people.
we don't just wave a magic wand and poof a plane into existence. We assemble it from pre-existing
Yeah.
material, right? And that assemblage is governed by the same laws of physics as everything else in the universe, such that there is no need for some kind of cosmic agency behind any event in the universe. Everything in the universe undergoes the same laws of nature, the same physical forces. You don't need a god. You don't.
Well, that's all I got. But still, when it comes to our
Okay. Have a good day, sir. Thank you for being kind, at least.
Hi. So, just to prove the existence of God, we're going to go through a couple of things, right? So, according to science, atoms cannot exist independently, okay? Atoms cannot reproduce independently. Science also says monkeys did not turn into humans, but rather monkeys and humans just share similar characteristics. So we're not gonna go into this evolution debate, right? Now, scientific studies also say that a plant's growth could be positively or negatively
Sir, what is your point?
influenced.
What is the point here?
I'm getting to the
Get
point.
to the
If you let
point.
me explain, I will get to the point, right? How this point is going to relate to the existence of God, you're going to see in a moment. So, if according to science, plants can grow either positively or negatively based on the words that are spoken to them, how is it illogical to believe that the account of Genesis 1:3, where God spoke a word and there was life that came into the world, how is that incredible?
Okay, great. So that's not true that plants grow negative based on what we say. That's ridiculous.
According to science,
But
it
go
is
ahead.
true.
Oh, really? Give me the scientific peer-reviewed research on that then. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, okay. I have it. I have it quoted right here. It's
Great.
by Sita Dodd, The Guardian. That's search it up. Search it up right now.
What is it? The Guardian?
Sita Dodd, Seetha space Dodd. The article is posted on The Guardian.
That's not a research. That's not an article or a study. That's a news site.
But they have a scientific news study there on the
What's
website.
the study called?
It's the study of read it if you don't believe me, or
What's
if you
the
just want to deny
study?
your
What is the
science.
study? What is the study? Do you know what
The
a study
study
is?
is on the effect of words, either negatively or positively, on
Okay, great.
plants.
What is the title of the study?
All I saw was Sita Dodd, The Guardian. But just search it up, please. Search it up. If you don't believe me,
No,
at least you
no,
can search it
this
up.
is not how it works. You don't just come up and say, "Oh, it's on the Guardian. Trust me, bro. It's on Fox News." That's not science. I'm asking, you said science says this. And if it's true, we should have enough evidence to warrant that claim. You have not presented any evidence.
But if you look at the evidence, do you want me to go? Because I know if I leave the app and go search up the name, you won't be able to hear me. So that's why I'm telling you to
Okay,
just at least.
I'm doing you a favor, and I'm on the article, right, on the
Thank you.
Guardian right now. Guess what? There is no fucking study linked at all.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Okay, so there's other there's more articles on that on Google. I hope you know that.
Where's the fucking study?
If you search up plants react to positive or negative words on Google, you will get a list of articles.
Google isn't science. If you think searching Google is science, you are mistaken. Science is based on peer-reviewed research methodologies where they experiment and it's tested and repeatable. That's science. You're able to alter variables, right? That's what science is. It's about testing things to pinpoint what exactly is happening. Linking me an article from Fox News or The Guardian is not science. All right, one last guest.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I just wanted to say, you can kick me after I say this. No one knows God exists. You have faith in God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and faith is useless in every sense.
What makes you say that, though? Can I ask that?
I can have faith that there's no God. Am I any more right?
What do you mean by that? Could you elaborate?
I have faith that there's no God. Am I right?
I'm sorry, I'm not really understanding. When you say you have faith there is no God, do you mean you have faith that there is no God? Because what is the reasoning behind that? I mean, evidence-wise, I'm sorry.
It's faith. That's the point. There is no evidence. It's faith.
What I'm saying is, what gives you faith that God doesn't exist?
All right. Have a good day, sir.
Okay.
Guys, faith is useless because just as you have faith in God, I can have faith in no God. And there's no way to tell the difference or which one has more credence. That's the problem. Faith does not get you to any reliable pathway to truth at all. It's based on chance or or coincidence. That's the only way you can be right on faith.
Hello?
All right, you're a fetus. Anybody else that wants to come up? Orthodox Gladiator. All right, let's get the Gladiator up here.
Yeah, hello?
Holy shit, that was hilarious. Okay. That was the funniest experience
Hello?
on TikTok I've ever had. Hey, what do you got?
So why do you say that God's imaginary? Like, what makes you,
Okay,
believe that?
how old are you? How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you
I was
born?
born in 2005,
What month?
March 20th.
What's a W-2?
A W-2 form?
Yeah.
It's whenever, you work, right?
No, close enough. Okay.
Legit, I
So,
graduated this
yeah,
year.
so the reason why I say there's no God is because there's no reason or evidence behind a God. Plus, there are logical inconsistencies entailed by its definition. The omniparadoxes, divine hiddenness, problem of evil. These are reasons to not believe in a God.
Okay.
Specific versions of a God.
So, when it comes to religion, have you ever, did you ever grow up, going to church or,
Yeah.
did anyone in your family believe in God?
Yeah. Now, do you have evidence for it?
Well, there's actually this scientist who actually tested Jesus' blood when, like, in Israel,
No,
and
no, that's incorrect. So there is no. So you're referring to Ron Wyatt, who is not a scientist. He's not an archaeologist. He's a fraud. He has done no scientific work. He's published no scientific anything in any journals.
so
He's a
them
fraud.
finding one chromosome
He didn't
of
find a
the
he didn't find a 24 chromosome piece of DNA. He found nothing, and he pretended he had something. Do you have any actual research behind this or studies?
No, I mean, I'm just
Yeah, we
going
can
off of
tell.
based
Okay,
off what I've seen.
we can
What
tell.
about people who have like life or death experience?
Those are explainable through hallucinations. When your heart stops beating, your brain is still active for 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. And in those minutes, your brain releases certain chemicals like dopamine, DMT, and serotonin, which can yield certain dreamlike experiences, visions, and dreams that do not mean God. They're just hallucinations.
Okay. And then what about like Jesus like did? Like how do you explain like him turning water to wine or like turning a blind person to see?
He
Like
didn't.
how do you
He didn't. There's no evidence for that.
so the people that saw it and like testified
Who
life or
saw it?
death,
Who saw it? Who saw it?
the people who wrote the book. I mean,
The people who wrote Spider-Man witnessed
would
Spider-Man
you
fall on the Empire State Building. It doesn't mean anything, right? You have a
so if
claim
you
for it.
if someone went to your like house and was like, I'm gonna kill you if you believe Jesus is real, like, and you say, okay, Jesus actually crucified, like, what would you like? How would you? Why would a person lie and like want to die? Like, for example, Peter, like when he said
Oh,
that Jesus died on the
yeah.
cross, like,
No, there is. So Christians often say this that, oh, people died for Jesus. They died for him. That's not true. There is no evidence, not even in the Bible, that specifically states that these disciples died for Jesus. That is never mentioned, especially not in the Gospels. There is nothing that connects the dots and tells us that people died for Jesus, let alone the fact that even if people died for Jesus, it doesn't give any more credence to him being a God, because people die for many things that they believe in that are false. The jihadists die for Allah. It doesn't mean that Allah is real.
so what about Allah saying like him saying himself like he's not the like most high powerful God? And like what about like back then in Egypt, the kings even said like I'm not the most powerful, like there's a God power more powerful than me.
Who said that? I don't know how is this even relevant?
Allah said that. Allah said that he wasn't the most highest, most powerful God.
Okay, I don't care about Allah. We're talking about there are many different people that have died throughout history, like the Mayans who died for their gods, the sun gods. They would literally sacrifice themselves when an eclipse happened. They literally thought gods control the moon and the sun, and they were willing to die. In fact, it was seen as honorable to die for those gods. So, in the same sense, when it comes to people dying for Jesus, which never happened, by the way, even if they did, it still wouldn't give credence to him being a god, because people believe in many silly things throughout history. They were willing to do dumb things for their beliefs, and we still are. And that's a clear sign that human behavior is what explains this. It's not that there is actually a God.
So life-changing experience and stuff like that, it doesn't prove that there's a God.
No, my life changes with or without a God.
So like let's say like you get sick and then like for example like one day like out of nowhere you just pray and like you're healed. Like that doesn't prove there's a God.
If I get sick and I die, does that mean God doesn't exist?
I mean, it'll grant you eternal life if you believe that God exists.
No, if I get sick and I pray and I die, does that mean God doesn't exist?
It means that God exists because either way you have faith, which I know you said faith
It
is,
means it means he does
like,
exist. It means he does exist.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
Okay.
you're gonna spend eternal
So
life
in
with him.
both so no matter what the scenario is, you'll say that God exists. In that sense, you have no way or methodology of
But
determining if,
it's God's will.
well, that's
So like,
convenient for you because what you're saying is whatever happens, God willed it. In that sense, you're always going to be right under your view, right? That's like me saying, whatever happens, spaghetti monster does it. And in that
no, because
sense,
as Christians, like we don't live for us. We don't live for the world. We live for God.
you absolutely live for yourself. You literally believe in God for selfish reasons because you want to go to paradise, right? You're worried about me. Where's my afterlife? Where do I go when I die, right? These are selfish questions.
No, because it,
Oh,
it it says in the
how about this?
Bible,
How about
if you
this?
live like
Jesus
that,
died for
then you
me.
won't go to heaven.
How about this? Jesus died for me, right? That's a selfish argument. He died for me. That's a selfish reasoning. Or, oh, I do good things because God tells me to. And if I do something good, I'll go to heaven. Selfish. Whereas in my view, I do good because I genuinely want to, regardless of the consequences or the reward. But more importantly, where's your evidence of God? I still don't see it.
My evidence, it's more of like a life-changing experience, like I said, like and
Okay.
seeing other people.
So whatever you have a life-changing experience, such as I die, I get murdered. Does that mean God exists because I got murdered?
Like you got murdered and you're still like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's
Like if someone
life-changing.
got shot and
It's a
almost died
life-changing.
and came back to life?
Yeah, it's a life-changing experience. I get shot and murdered. Does that mean God exists?
No, I'm talking about like testimonial wise. Like something
Yeah,
occurred in my life
that's my testimony. I got shot and died. Does that mean God's
and
real?
I mean it's whatever you like. Like I said, like it's you having
Right.
that eternal life after now.
Right. It's basically what she said.
Hi, Mike. How you doing? Greetings from the UK.
What do you got?
I love the statement, God is imaginary, can you prove me wrong? My argument is, well, it's not an argument, I suppose, but there are lots of testimonies, including my own. So when somebody's convicted of a crime, there's lots of witness statements that are consistent over time in a court of law. That's evidence. That's used in courts of law to convict criminals. There's lots of witness statements to the reality of God by millions of people that exist today and millions of people that existed before. So you'd have to go through all of those to prove them all wrong, to say that everybody, all those millions of people are lying or they've got it completely wrong. So you can't definitely say one way or the other without going through all of those, can you? You can't, but it's not that black and white.
No, it's not. It's very clear to me that simply in courts, in the court setting, when we talk about people witnessing something, the idea is that there is something that the judge or that there's something that they're being persecuted for, right? There's an action that actually happened. There's a fact of the matter. What the eyewitness accounts do is, depending on the situation, if there's enough people that have seen the same, have said the same thing, then that gives the judge the ability to make a decision based on the amount of witnesses that saw it, because given the situation, people are good accounts of basic things that happen around us, especially things that like murder, things like this. But it does
Sure.
not mean that just because a witness said something, that means they're true or that they didn't lie. People can lie in court, right? There are mistakes that judges can make. So courts are not perfect settings, with or without eyewitness testimony.
And you also look as well, don't you, in that context
That's
of...
why this is not analogous to God, because when it comes to God, we want hard evidence. We want good reasoning skills, especially the fact that God is a supernatural claim and everything in a courtroom is a natural claim, right? We would never go to a courtroom and somebody says, oh, I saw ghosts. And the judge is like, you won the court. Yes, ghosts exist. That's stupid. It's because the claims are different, vastly different situations. They're disanalogous from one another.
Yeah, I mean, taking Jesus on point, there's more evidence that Jesus existed than Julius Caesar. The historian, Jewish
Great.
historian
Where's your
Josephus
evidence?
wrote about him.
Great. So where's your evidence that Jesus existed?
There were obviously written accounts. What you said earlier about nobody dying for Christ was incorrect, because in Acts there's an account of Peter's death.
Where exactly is the
Dying for
document?
Christ.
Where's exactly the document?
Josephus. If you look up the Jewish historian Josephus, he's written a credible account.
No, it's not an account at all. He was a historian who, after the matter, decades after Jesus even died, he wrote in retrospect about Jesus, and it was likely an interpolation. It wasn't even a real historical account, even.
Based on how did you come to that?
That's the
How
only
did you come to
thing
that presumption? That's presumption. That's presuming that he made that decision.
No, biblical scholars agree that Josephus and Tacitus were interpolation.
I mean, I'm getting off the point. Sorry, but what I'm saying is, for my mind personally, I can testify that God is real in my life and how I've experienced Him.
I don't care.
And I'm not a nutter.
I care about.
but equally,
sir,
I know lots of other people as well.
Stop.
No.
I care about
thanks very much. I haven't made my point, but there you go.
I care about evidence and data. I know you have a testimony, and that's cute. But I care about how you know this testimony is actually a real thing that actually happened, and not just your own confirmation bias.
Sure, I get that, but there are also some very, there's some very credible people who also testify to it as well and have experienced it, and they're not, Oxford Dons and people like that who are very, and equally there are people who discount it as well and agree with the statement that God is imaginary. So
how do we know who's right? How do we know that you're right and I'm wrong? How do you know this? Because many other people have testimonies and with different gods. There's testimonies for fucking the Mayan gods, the Egyptian gods, the Roman gods, the African gods.
I agree, and I think it's a really good statement.
Evidence. How you know that your God is correct?
Well, in a court of law, so there was a guy in the UK who was a celebrity over here called Jimmy Savile. I don't know if you heard of him. And he molested loads and loads of kids. And after he died, all the witness statements were so aligned that there was a pattern of his behaviour, and all of these statements were sort of in line, if that makes sense.
I'm not talking about a court. I'm talking about reality.
Well, that's evidence, isn't it? In the court of law, that's an evidence.
Real things that exist in the world, in the real world, right? Where's your evidence?
But when you prove something, and if you prove that he did it, that was used as proof of his guilt. So that's evidence, isn't it? Witness statements are proof. They are used forensically in law.
Sir, the world is not a courtroom, right? The world is reality. A courtroom is some societal thing that we've invented. I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about the real world, where nobody's eyewitness testimony would ever give credence to a ghost claim or a ghoul claim or a leprechaun claim. If 1,000 people said that they saw a leprechaun, would you believe in them?
I'd look into it, because as a former journalist, I would think, there's a lot of people saying that. So
around the world, thousands of people per year say they see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't matter how many fucking eyewitnesses you have. You could have 1 billion people. It doesn't give credence to something supernatural.
When you look into it, it might or it might not. Obviously you investigate it further, don't you?
That's why you have to look into it, because you can't just take eyewitness testimony accounts at face value. You have to look into it.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Then get the evidence. Where is it?
Sure. Well, I mean, if you look in front of your face and you see your hand, why should I believe you that your hand is in front of your face? That's imaginary, isn't it? So you can't dismiss.
No. So okay. So when you're talking about absolute ontological claims about reality, right? Like the nature of reality, that we're not just brains in a vat, that there is some kind of reality to this, so that there is an external world to my mind. That is something that we agree about in this world. We agree that my mind is different than your mind. That is something we can agree philosophically speaking. We don't have absolute access. We don't have access to epistemic access to these absolutes about reality. We will never be absolutely sure if we're not brains in about, or this isn't an illusion. We'll never know for sure, but that's irrelevant, because what we do know is that we exist and there is something that we can observe about reality, and that there is some real phenomena that happen, regardless, whatever the ontology is, there is still something happening around us, right? If this is a Grand Theft Auto game or a simulation, there's still something real about the simulation, interior to it. So the point is that this is a category error, because you're saying, well, we don't understand the absolute reality, therefore God could exist. No, unfortunately, there's no good reason to believe in a God, but there is very good reason to think that there is an external world.
According to you, of course, and it's sort of about personal experience and your personal decision. So, for instance, if I said, the moon is black tonight, and you look out your window, you could say, no, I disagree with you there, Rob. But it's sort of like, what I'm trying to say is, if Jesus said he was the way, the truth, and the life, nobody comes to the Father, comes to heaven except through him. So either he's right or he's wrong.
About your guy who died on a stick for no reason. I want evidence.
Be respectful, please, dude. Come on, you wouldn't say that about a Muslim to their face. That's really disrespectful.
Sir, you think I should be burning in hell? You're not.
I'm respectful for you. I'm just asking for courtesy. That's all.
You're not respectful to me in the sense of your religious views. You think that I should be burning in hell. That's not respect.
No, I do. I didn't say that, and I don't think that at all.
You think I should die? I should burn because I'm an atheist?
No, I don't. I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say that, and I don't think that at all.
Do you believe that I will burn when I die?
No, I'm talking about.
Will I go to heaven when I die as an atheist?
The point I was trying to make.
Sir, will I go to heaven as an atheist?
Say that again. Sorry, I misheard you.
Will I go to heaven as an atheist?
It's not my decision, dude.
I know it's not your decision, sir. I'm asking you, under your view, would I go to hell or heaven as an atheist when I die?
Well, to answer that question, going back to what I was in the middle of saying, so Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the life. So I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, right?
Back to the conversation. Have a good day. Jesus. That's all they can do.
What up? What up?
What do you got?
Can I turn on my camera or no?
I don't know if we care, but go ahead. What's your argument today?
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm not even coming in with the whole Christian spiel. But from a philosophical standpoint, bro, like, how do you not believe in God? I'm just curious.
Because God is ill-defined and it means nothing. It's a word. It doesn't mean anything. If I say God, 1,000 people have different versions of what their God is.
Bro, that's a straw man argument in and of itself. You're starting off with a straw man argument.
Okay, great. So what's God?
God's not a person or a thing.
Then what is it?
Everything. Bro, there has to be.
So God is my shit. God is my piss. God is my cum.
No, not necessarily.
God is my eyeball. God is my skin.
No.
My hair.
Not necessarily, but at the same time.
Wait, so what is God?
Well, he's I don't know. It's just like you can't comprehend it.
This is the problem. The fact that you said
you can't.
First thing you said to me was, how do you not believe in God? How do you not believe in God? Well, the reason why is because not only is there no evidence for this shit, but you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't even know what you believe. You don't even have a coherent sense of it in any way. It's a word. That's why I don't believe in God. It's a word. And unfortunately, over thousands of years, people love to imagine. We love to think about and fantasize about, going to heaven or having better lives after this one. We love to imagine that one day we'll be remembered and that our friends and family will that have passed we'll see again. And we tend to conglomerize all these different beliefs into one ball we call God. But unfortunately, we can derive all those things from our imaginations. And that's why I say God's imaginary. Because everything we tend to believe about God is almost human. In fact, every aspect of God is human. It loves us, it cares for us, it died for us. These are human traits that I would never attribute to something omniscient or all-powerful. These seem to be egotistical things that an egotistical thing would do. And to me, if God is omniscient, it would never be egotistical, nor hateful, nor send us to hell. And that's all for tonight, guys. I gotta go. Subscribe to my YouTube. I do this because I care about people. I do. I care about not only people, but society as a whole. The trajectory I want to, the society I want to live in is one where we care about truth, where we care about honesty, where we care about facts. Because facts and science and knowledge helps us. That's why. Anyway, I gotta go. How many accounts do I have? What's up? I got a lot of accounts. Someone said facts are imaginary. Well, when I say imaginary, I don't mean in the mind. What I mean is it doesn't exist in reality, or you can't tether it to something real, right? That's what I mean. So yes, facts exist in the mind, but it does not mean that they're imaginary. Steak isn't imaginary. How was the world created? It wasn't. Creation is an ambiguous word, right? When we ask ourselves what do you mean by creation? Ex nihilo, ex materia, like what do you mean by create? How do you create something from nothing? How is that possible? When we talk about me creating an art piece or a painting, well, when we use the word create there, what we mean is we're assembling pre-existing stuff, right? Paint, a piece of paper, a brush, right? And we assemble them into a painting. There is no body, there's no agency beyond the physical matter that is required to explain that creation of the painting. Who created the paint? Again, physical matter in the universe, right? Atoms and stuff, and there doesn't need to be an origin for these things. There could be a primordial state, a state in which everything existed, but it was just a different state. As far back as we can see, it's a quark gluon plasma, where every bit of matter in the universe can be traced back to that moment where it was very hot, very dense. There does not need to be some kind of creation of our type of matter. Matter could have always existed in some way. It's just that state of matter changes. In fact, it doesn't even make sense to think of a non-existence. Like what does it mean to not exist? Or nothingness? What does nothingness mean? It seems incoherent at first because when you think of nothing, you're thinking of something, right? You're thinking. You have a thought, and that thought is bounded itself by space-time. When you think, we think through space-time, right? When we think about things about in the universe, we use space and time to construct a model of it. So embedded in our thoughts is the inherent notion of existence or space-time, of something. If you talk about nothing, well, it no longer makes any sense because true absolute nothingness, we can't think of. We can't think about it. You're overthinking, maybe you're underthinking. We are star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Exactly. It's what good old Sagan said, right? There he is. Everything about your body, every atom in your body can be traced back to stars that exploded billions of years ago. The atoms and material that you're made of, that makes up your body, the calcium in your bones, the phosphorus in your DNA, the carbon in your skin, all of these can be traced back to stars that exploded billions of years ago. These stars can produce this matter in their cores, and over time they explode, and the matter gets sent out into space and forms a cloud, an interstellar gas cloud, that then collapses on itself due to gravity. It becomes another planetary disk, which then yields us. So in a sense, this matter is recycled over many, many years. That's all we are. It seems to be. This is amazing stuff. Amazing. But not magic. How did stars come about? These are great questions. How did stars get here? These are questions that science has the answers to. Stars are just plasma, balls of plasma that arise due to gravity. Gravity collapses dust clouds, and heat and stuff builds up in the center. The mass builds up in the center, and that mass collects more mass. It attracts more mass, and over time, if it gains enough mass, it turns into a ball of plasma, which then builds up enough heat at its core to yield nuclear fusion, stellar fusion. In that sense, it can produce its own energy now by smashing particles together at its core, yielding off light, which then counteracts the force of gravity, pulling it inwards. And this is a star. A star is a ball of plasma. It's just very hot, dense energy and matter. And this is something that we can understand through science. You don't need God for it. In fact, if God did it, he did a terrible job, because stars can explode and destroy life. Explosions are chaotic. The universe is chaotic. Who made the stars? There doesn't have to be a who. Right? There could be a what. And neither does it have to be creation. The universe could have always existed. And the energy and matter of the universe could have always been, and through time it changes. And guys, I'm not here to say that we have all the answers. Of course we don't have all the answers. Of course. But the problem is when you pretend that you do, right? You pretend that I know that the universe was created and there's got to be somebody doing this. We don't know that. The universe is still a grand mystery to us. But the Christian or the religious want to fill in the mystery with God. They want to cloak the mystery and say, God did it. I think that's a mistake. I think that in fact, the reason why the reason why we shouldn't do that is because the mystery might be even more counterintuitive than God. Maybe there's something even more greater than God out there that completely defies everything we know today, that one day we'll learn and utterly dwarf the idea or notion of God. So that's why I think we should remain open to the mystery and stop pretending as if we know what it is, and start embracing it and being okay with not knowing things. And asking these questions, where do we come from and who made us? These are great questions, but perhaps they're the wrong question to ask. Maybe there is no answer to these questions. Maybe there is no before the Big Bang, or maybe there is no creating of the universe. Just like there's no north of the North Pole, right? Asking what's north of the North Pole, it doesn't make sense. There is no north of the North Pole. It doesn't exist. What's at the edge of the earth, right? This is a question that our ancestors would ask. What's at the edge of the earth? Well, that's an invalid question. There is no edge of the earth. So maybe the questions we're asking about the universe are wrong. Maybe we just don't have enough knowledge of the universe or reality to even ask the correct questions. And that's where science comes in. Science is a tool we use to kind of sharpen our understanding to a little bit better degree, such that the more we do science, the more the universe becomes clearer. And that's what science attempts to do. Science never pretends to have all the answers. That's what religion does. Religion says that I know the answers, it's all crystal clear, God. But what if there's something better or beyond that? That's what science is after. Science is after the bigger questions, the bigger answers. The answers that the religious are not willing to concede to. And like Neil Tyson says, God seems to be this ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance. As science grows in knowledge, God seems to be becoming smaller in relevance. And this is why I'm an atheist, because not only is there no evidence of a God, but science is an endeavor that can actually answer things way better than religion. Even if God is real, science still works. Science is still the best method to truth. Even if God is real, right? Even if there is a God, or it doesn't matter. Science still fucking works. And in that sense, it doesn't make sense to me to just exchange all this rationality and understanding in exchange for some kind of wishful thinking that one day if I pray and hope and wish enough, I will get this reward. I think that's not only wrong, but selfish. So, that's all. How did space get here? This is a question that we don't know the answer to. But guess what? Religion will never know the answer. Science may not know the answer now, but religion will never know it. It can't know it. Religion can't know anything, because religion is not a pathway or methodology to truth. But guess what is? Science. And we have people working on it, right? There are scientists that are working on these big questions. What is space? And right now in philosophy, in physics, there is two ideas. Space is either eternal or emergent. There could be a quantum reason for space. There could be a quantum mechanical reason for space. What it seems to be the case. But and the funny thing is that quantum mechanics completely defies our intuitions about reality, which religion seems to be completely intuitive. The trend in science is that the more we learn about reality, the more we realize how counterintuitive things are. And that even more just makes me realize the stark dichotomy between these two things, religion and science. How religion is such a primitive, elementary notion, an intuitive notion, too intuitive, that when I look countering this, in contrast, when I look at science and how it allows us to see the difference in intuitiveness of reality, and how counterintuitive it really is, it makes me realize how ridiculous religion is and how amazing reality is.